Here we are, back to part 2 of Truth to Power. Truth to Power, the Gatehouse, the whole Gatehouse, and nothing but the Gatehouse. We've just, and I've uploaded it to BitChute as well, put this Truth to Power part 1 up, and that has these blogs which are in the description. It starts off with the New World Order paradigm shift, going into parts 1, 2 and 3 of the full Gatehouse. So that's here. I'm just going to go over these because obviously it's at the beginning of this part 1. There's part 2. Part 3. So that was part 3, which I remember doing. New grand strategy for the United States, military-industrial complex, Richard Dawkins, etc. It's this chap there, and then right, the Gatehouse, the whole Gatehouse, nothing but the Gatehouse, part 4, and here is Gabriel Gatehouse's profile on The Guardian. And surprise, surprise, the confusion around Russian meddling means they're already winning. So this is the, Vlad the Bad narrative, whereas anything bad in the United States, Europe, or whatever, all has to be the fault of Vladimir Putin and the Kremlin, and this whole Red Scare, back to the Cold War thing. So then at times like this, these Epictetus or Wittgenstein, and I make the idea, put the idea forward of the shithouse window fly, Shiesse Hause Fenster Flegan. Now that's a line out of Adolf Hitler, My Partner's Downfall by Spike Milligan. And I've looked for it several times over the years, but can't actually find it. So, but anyway, that's where that comes from. And obviously, with Gabriel Gatehouse being a gatekeeper, what I'm basically saying is the Gatehouse is actually a shithouse of propaganda. Gabriel Gatehouse, not just the gatekeeper, but the whole fucking Gatehouse, in fact, being a shithouse. Do forgive me being a bit crude, but it's all meant in good fun. So at times like these, Epictetus or Wittgenstein. Now Wittgenstein said of his philosophy that he hoped to show the human race or the human fly the way out of the bottle, and I did this some time ago, and there's this cartoon here. It says saying you look fat in that dress is only a bad thing if you react to it badly, honey. Needless to say, Richard's first foray into Stoicism didn't end well. Epictetus is obviously a famous Stoic. New World Order paradigm shift, so that's how we began part 1 with that. And then we've got the direction of travel in the last 40 years. And these ideas of globalization, urbanization, etc., which we started this series with, and what have you. And then I go into this blog here about Speaker's Corner and the dialogues of it was a messy, loud process. And there are 3 videos. I've watched a lot of these videos. There's one of this Rasta and a Muslim discussing man's relationship to God, and the idea of not worshipping false idols, and it's a really interesting discussion. Then there's this pastor David Leon and this famous guy here who I don't think Tommy Robinson likes very much. I think he's from Luton, and that's an interesting discussion. It goes on for quite a long time, and then this I like these two, even though they can be quite hard work. But if you watch these Speakers Corners videos, they figure quite often. This guy figures in one of Billy Bragg launching his new book at Speakers Corner. And Billy Bragg's own kind of part of the establishment, sort of Corbynite momentum sort of narratives, if you like, and this guy's challenging Billy Bragg. If you search Billy Bragg, you'll probably find that the way to search this blog is you go up here and just, if you type in Billy Bragg here, where he's mentioned will come up, and you will find a video in which the guy was just pointing out this religious Zionist Jew here, right. So then I link to the Conquest of Doe website, and this quote here, which is from an unpublished book, as far as I know, which is brilliant. It's available online, and I found it when I was researching the novel. And this quote: if you're digging up history, you have to dig it all up. If they dig up 60 years, I will dig up 600. If we go back far enough in the history, always there will be some grievance, and I fight on him, I'll fight on you, I'll fight on everyone. Where is the beginning? I cannot find it. Dig up all the problems and you will find they have a root cause in one place: greed. Where there is greed, there is no satisfaction. Guru Guruji, quoted from Towards Unity by Stuart Hastings. Very profound, that. With this, I mean, I have a Orthodox religious faith, and all of these gentlemen here have an Orthodox religious faith. The best way I can describe that is Sinead O'Connor was on the morning programme the other day, and they had a long interview with her. It was very interesting, but she's become a Muslim, and she basically said that going back to Islam for her was kind of like going home, because Islam's view is that we're all Muslims. My view is we're all Jews, in the sense that the orthodox idea of the non-corporeal God, not worshipping false idols, and living according to the scripture. And scripture is originally from an oral tradition, so anything that's written down obviously has not come from that oral tradition, and so there have been amendments or schools of thoughts. In Islam, you get that with hadith, and you have it in the non-canonical biblical, i.e. the books that didn't, or the Apocrypha that didn't make it into the various iterations of the Bible. And you get the same thing also with the Torah, Kabbalah, the Pentateuch, all of this. That there are schools of thought, and where there are schools of thought, that's obviously men adding their spin to things, whereas my general faith is that there's one love. It's quite a Rasta thing, and that's the defining force. Now, the famous American pragmatist C.S. Peirce said there are three forces at work in the universe. He basically said there's love, chance, and evolution according to laws of physics, and anarchism, agapism, and tychism, he calls them, and you'll find that quoted elsewhere on the blog here. And that's kind of where I come from, and so when people listen, they get along a bit better and find out they actually quite like each other, and that's what you find with these videos, and I put them up here. And if you look at the full speakers, that full blog on my Steam It blog, you'll find others of some quite heated arguments between Tommy Robinson and another a Muslim fellow, generally when people spend time with each other and chat things through, they actually find they've more in common with each other than not, and that's what comes from dialogue, you know, the divisive elements of this are really people that try to set people apart and set them against each other, you know, that kind of factional stuff. The oligarchy at the moment is busy sort of fighting amongst themselves. Usually they're busy making, you know, everybody fight amongst each other, so they're doing that as well as fighting amongst themselves at the moment. Well, that's my view anyway. And then I follow on with two blogs, Untangling Cognitive Dissonance. You remember I said about my worldview is a kind of counterpoint to Gabriel Gatehouse's, and there is a dissonance in our melody, if you like, in our different, you know, my counterpoint to his melody, if you like, cognitive dissonance is the coming to terms with two contradictory things and holding those two beliefs at the same time, and that's what these are about, Untangling Cognitive Dissonance Part 1 and 2. And then I finish off with this poem I wrote, Real Love Reality Is, which is you know, basically in the background is John Coltrane's The Love Supreme, and that's what that's about. And so this blog here, Second Temple Extension, Herod the Vassal King of Whom, this goes from the whole idea of from Herod the Jewish rebellion right the way up to Netanyahu now in Israel, and I liken Netanyahu to Herod, in that Herod was the vassal king of Rome, and there's that dynamic in Zionism, and it's very much like that. Then this is my song Jasmine in the World of Ideas, with Cornel West from The Examined Life, Bluesman in the Life of the Mind. So that's what that is. And then the Speaker's Corners things. And then there's this Australian political party, which I've alluded to. So anyway, you have a read through those, you can sort of, you know, the themes sort of come out from those. Then this is the Speaker's Corner, there's Cornel West, my philosophical hero, and then it goes into these Speaker's Corners discussions. This discussion here is really profound. I'm just reading there. And this is an exchange I had with my friend Mike, who's a lapsed Catholic and knows a hell of a lot about Catholic theology. And this is Mike here. This is Mike here. Apparently the Quran was revealed to Muhammad by Angel Gabriel over 22 years, and he cast all to memory. Mary told Shiesse to have Emmanuel baby Jesus by Angel Gabriel, and at final stage of pregnancy went 110 miles by donkey, Joseph walking to give birth in Bethlehem, which is where Jesus, real name Yeshu, had to be born to be called Messiah. In 1854 the Pope declared Mary Immaculate Conception, born without original sin. Much later it was pointed out that this made her a goddess and so can't die. So where is she? So in 1950 the Pope declared that when her work was completed she was assumed into heaven. Both events celebrated as a holy day, with collection plates at the ready. Just a snippet of things, believable, many do. Angel Gabriel gets around a lot. That's my friend Mike to me, and we have long discussions, Mike and I, on and we have done since I moved to Sweden, we've known each other since back in the 1990s, and he was asking about what I made of Tommy Robinson's views of Islam, and I find his views pretty unsound from a theologian's point of view. From the point of view of a political point of view, as regards Wahhabism and jihadism and radical Islamism, if you like, he's spot on. But then he goes on and you know, insults Muhammad and says all these terrible, you know, all these things, that's a particular jaundiced construction on all of the, you know, all of the facts, whatever. It's not uncommon, and I like this discussion here. Does neither of these two gentlemen? That's Tommy Robinson, and there's this other Muslim guy. They're both from Luton. Just yelling at each other. This is a bit better. This is she's married to the Austrian supposed alt-right bloke, and oh no, that's not her. This is Lauren Southern, and there's another one called something Pettibone, and she's married now to Martin, whatever he's called, and this is Lauren Southern that made a documentary about immigrants from Northern Africa and Spain. It's quite a good documentary, actually. But it's different people talking about these different things, and you know, the more they talk, I think the less that they misunderstand each other. So it has to be a good thing, in my view, that people, you know, understand each other and live and let live, not try and change each other and say, well, our way is better than your way or whatever. Now, all of those questions have got absolutely nothing to do with what resources are available, how quickly they can be laid on, and whether mass migration or not is actually supportable within the existing economy and facilities that are available for general populations. They're separate questions. They get conflated, and then when people actually mention them, they get called racist and bigots and all this sort of thing, and it's completely insupportable. And this is my point about people like Gabriel Gatehouse, and also it's my point about the 9/11 documentary and why I've spent so much time sort of saying, well, look, here's the Hallett interview, and if you look at the 2 hours uncut and see what's cut into that documentary, you see that they are spinning a particular narrative, and that's what his job is, Gabriel Gatehouse. That's what Laura Kusenberg's job is at the BBC as well. It's what Rachel Maddow's job is wherever she is. Even Tucker Carlson, you know, that's his job. Or Alex Jones's. They have their point of view, and they make, you know, they're putting their own particular slant on it. And to my way of thinking, people put what any slant they like. And if you're so silly that you can't see that there is a slant and compensate for it in your own mind, well, for goodness sake, you know, try a bit harder. That's my view, anyway. And you know, generally speaking, I think if someone holds themselves out as being neutral, then they should be, and journalism should be neutral, reporting. You know, reporting facts and evidence that's been found without putting a construction or activist spin on it, and that isn't hard to get your head round that idea. So that's what that blog was about, and that's the cognitive dissonance ones. Then this is my YouTube channel, and this is a video, Alan Clark, Actuality and Political Journalism, and this is looking at what I call the neoliberal matrix, and it's talking about arms to East Timor and arms fairs, and it's John Pilger. That's a very good film, that one. That's this the stream that's finished. Where's the stream that we're on at the moment, so we can just check and see what we're doing. Bum ba-dum bum bum. Are we streaming? Yes, we are. Warning, please check the video resolution. The current resolution is not optimal. Well, we'll live with that. And what I want to do is get back to here. Okay. And we're just going to okay, so there we are, live on the front page there, and this is the video page on the channel, and there were a couple of other documentaries which I was gonna just point out. It's all the Paul Gregan stuff on Money Lent Twice. It's that's pretty advanced monetary truth, that is, and Gregan is great, and it not enough people study his work, in my opinion. Henry Georgeism, I earlier did a link to Peace by Standing Army, his speech. Now this here, third Philippic against Trump's Iran announcement. There's Trump and the Greater Israel Plan. It's been getting quite a lot of people have been watching that one for a political thing. Then the post-war consensus through neoliberalism. This film here is another one which I just want to put a link into there, because this talks about the post-war consensus, when many would argue, including me, that was the kind of like the golden age of capitalism, if you like, where there was more of a mixed economy, where there was free enterprise, but they broke up the large monopolies and what have you, and then also the way of doing things financially was fairer, and so there was more creativity. What we have now is such huge wealth concentration, and I don't think that's just a side effect. I think the reason for that is to get the political power really concentrated, so that people have to be obedient, or they're sort of cast out into the wilderness. Which is where I personally feel that I'm cast in the wilderness at the moment, and you know, I mean, I'm a pretty sociable sort of person. I wouldn't harm a fly. Well, I mean, I used to be a rugby player, so of course, someone attacked me, I would certainly defend myself, and they'd probably get hurt. But I mean, I don't, I'm not an aggressive person. Although on the rugby pitch I used to be, and etc. But so here's Beardsley Runnell's famous speech about taxation for revenue being obsolete. So you can kind of look at the election, putting off the voters. We've mentioned that. Brenda from Bristol. Quilligan Finance Commons, and I mentioned the Brandt report. It's quite an interesting one there, and so on and so forth. And then when you come to the BitChute channel here, there's the 9/11, 10 years on, Women for America. Now that features on the Conquest of Doe website. Here's the quote here that we just did from Stuart Hastings towards unity, and then it finishes with this quote from Nietzsche: every living thing can become healthy, strong and fruitful only within a horizon. If it is incapable of drawing a horizon around itself, or on the other hand too selfish to restrict its vision to the limits of a horizon drawn by another, it will wither away feebly or over hastily to its early demise. Cheerfulness, clear conscience, the carefree deed, faith in the future, all this depends in the case of an individual as well as on a people, on there being a line which distinguishes which is clear and in full view from the dark and unilluminable. It depends on one's being able to forget at the right time as well as to remember at the right time, on discerning with strong instinctual feelings when there is need to experience historically and when unhistorically. Precisely this is the proposition the reader is invited to consider, the unhistorical and the historical equally necessary for the health of an individual, a people and a culture, and on the advantage and disadvantage of history for life. So that's Friedrich Nietzsche. So that's pretty much all I want to say on this this part 4, and any questions, put them in the comments. Please click, like, link, share. I have got a t-shirt site and a book of poetry. Let's just show you the t-shirt site here. This is it here, look. Example, not lip surface, .tmail.co.uk. I'll put a link in the description. It's a free subscription, this one, so I don't pay, so I can't drop the prices. So I appreciate they are pricey, they're organic or whatever, but they are, they are pretty unique, and you're unlikely to find anyone else wearing one. But I made this website ages ago. That's the novel, and then there are some amusing ones, some David Icke one, problem action solution, sort of dot joining, etc. Mange 2, Rodney, Delboy Trotter, Socrates corrupting the youth. Anyway, have a look at that, and if you fancy buying one, that'd be greatly appreciated. And then on Amazon, a book of my poetry is actually available for purchase. You'll find all the poems on my blog as well for free, but if you want them in a handy dandy Kindle edition, there we are, look, and there's that. So I'll put those links in the description, that's saying what the price is in yen. You can, it is available in English. I don't know why that's come up like that. How the hell do you change that? Hold on, let's just do this. Look, English, there we are. Right. Yeah, there we are, look. I'll put that link in as well. And a few of those have sold. I like the t-shirts. I would, wouldn't I? Because I'm the one that sort of decided what to put on them. But you can order them, and that's pretty much that, really. So keep an eye out for Grub Street Journal, and then also the in-browser serialization and publishing thing. Hypatia's browser is just a customized start page browser, but again the link will be in the description. So have a great Sunday, and God bless, and have a great Sunday. I hope things are fine wherever you are, and if they're not, then peace be with you, and I hope things get better soon. Cheers.